One of the biggest misconceptions in search right now is that AI search is replacing SEO. I have heard statements like, people won't click websites anymore, AI search will answer everything, SEO is becoming obsolete. But according to Google's own guidance on AI powered search experiences, the answer is actually much simpler. SEO still matters. In fact, many of the same SEO practices remain relevant because generative AI experiences are built on top of Google's existing search and ranking systems. So in this video, let's talk about why SEO is still relevant, how AI search actually works, and what content creators should focus on moving forward. Hi everyone, I'm Sanya. If you work in SEO, content marketing, digital marketing, or website strategy, you have probably been wondering what changes in the era of AI search. The answer is probably less dramatic than you think. AI search still needs content to find. So let's start with the most important reality. AI search does not create information out of nowhere. Before it can generate an answer, it needs information. And where does that information come from? Web content, Google's search index, pages that can be discovered, crawled, understood, and evaluated. This is where SEO becomes important. If your content cannot be found, indexed, or understood, it becomes much harder for AI powered experiences to use it. The first lesson here is simple. Being discoverable still matters. Before AI can cite your content, it has to find it. Before it can use your content, it has to understand it. And that's exactly what SEO helps accomplish. So, one concept Google discusses is something often called grounding, sometimes referred to as retrieval augmented generation. Here's what that means in plain English. When someone asks a question, the system does not just generate an answer from memory. Instead, it retrieves relevant pages from the search index. It looks at those pages, it uses the information it finds, and then constructs a response. That's why you often see links and sources attached to AI generated answers. The system is grounding its response in content that already exists online. This completely changes how many people think about AI search. Because if AI experiences rely on retrieved content, then content quality becomes even more important. The system needs reliable information to work with. Now, understanding query fan out. So the second concept is something called query fan out. This is where things get really interesting. Many people assume that if they want visibility in AI search, they need a separate page for every possible keyword variation. But that's not how modern search works. AI systems often take the user's original question and generate additional related questions behind the scenes. Then they gather information from results that answer all of those related questions. Think about that for a moment. One user query can trigger multiple related searches, which means one comprehensive page can potentially answer many connected questions. This is why well structured, in depth content often performs better than dozens of thin pages created for keyword variations. So, what should content creators do? The answer is surprisingly familiar. Focus on valuable content, helpful content, original content, strong information architecture, clear page structure, technical accessibility, and user satisfaction. In other words, many of the things that have always mattered. The mistake I see many organizations making right now is trying to build completely separate strategies for AI search and traditional search. But Google's guidance suggests a different approach. Rather than creating content specifically for AI systems, focus on creating content that genuinely helps users. Because helpful content could benefit both traditional search experiences and AI powered experiences. This is also where I think some content teams are heading in the wrong direction. When organizations hear about AI search, they sometimes respond by creating large number of pages targeting tiny keyword variations. The assumption is more pages equals more opportunities. But the reality is often the opposite. If one comprehensive page can answer multiple related questions, creating dozens of near identical pages become unnecessary. The focus should be depth, quality, and usefulness, not volume. So, is SEO still relevant for generative AI search? The short answer is yes, because AI powered search experiences still rely on content that can be found, understood, evaluated, and trusted. The tools are evolving, the interfaces are evolving, but the fundamental goal remains the same: create content that helps users. Because whether the answer appears in a traditional search or an AI generated experience, great content still fits all the foundation. If you found this useful, subscribe for more discussions around SEO, AI search, and content quality, AEO, GEO, and the future of search. And let me know in the comments what's the biggest misconception you have heard about AI search and SEO. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.